Hi students, welcome to our science class. Our chapter name is Force, Work and Energy. In the last class we discussed about force. Force. We defined force as a force that gives push or pull on an object. That means when we are pushing or when we are pulling a substance, that is what actually the force. And then we discussed about the effects of force. Effects. What are the effects? When we are applying force on an object, if this is the object, one, it will move. When this object is at rest, that means first it is not moving. When we are applying force, then this object will move. The second one, when the object is there already in motion, when I am giving force on this, one, the speed will increase. Or speed decrease. Speed increase or decrease. And we can stop a moving object by giving a force. What are the another effects of force? We can change the shape. We can change the shape. That means now this is in spherical shape, and when I am giving force, it may be in a particular shape. So we can change the shape or size of the object by applying force. So these are some of the effects of force that we discussed in our last class. Now we are going to study different types of force. We said that, one example, this is one ball. I can give force by my hand. That is one type of force. When I am putting the ball at this side and when I am dropping this from a height, you can see that that ball is moving from the top to bottom. At that time, another type of force acts on this ball. And when the ball is rolling through the surface of the ground, there is another type of force acting on this ball from the ground. That means each and every case different types of force acts on particular type of objects. Now we are going to study which are the different types of force. That is our today's topic. Within this session you want to study the definition of that force and also just remember some examples. That's the only thing for this. So the topic is types of force. Basically, you want to study these types of force. The first one is magnetic force. First one. The second one is this electrostatic force. Then gravitational force. Then buoyant force. Next, frictional force. Another one is muscular force. One more force is there to study, that is mechanical force. These are the different types of force that you want to study. We can study in detail. First you just want to study these names. First one is magnetic force. As its name, it is something depend upon the magnet. The next is electrostatic force. That's depend upon the charges. This electrostatic force depend upon certain type of charges. It will come by doing some sort of thing and we can discuss. The next is gravitational force. It is a type of attractive force between two objects. We can discuss. The next is buoyant force. Buoyant. The spelling is B-U-O-Y-A-N-T, but we just read it as buoyant. Buoyant force. Or simply we can say buoyancy. So this is the force that we get or we experience in water. We can study that. The next is frictional force. Frictional force. I will tell that when we are walking through the road, you can see our chappals are getting tear and wear. The reason is nothing but our frictional force. The next is muscular force. As its name, it depends upon our muscles. So that is muscular force. And the next is mechanical force. That depends upon machines. This mechanical force. So these are the different types of force. First task is this. You want to study the names of these. Magnetic force, electrostatic force, gravitational force, buoyant force, frictional force, muscular force and mechanical force. These are the different types of force. Now we are going to study in detail each and every type of force. First we are going to discuss about magnetic force. Magnetic force. I already said, like its name, it's depend upon the force with the magnet. So, for example, I am just taking one horseshoe magnet. Horseshoe magnet means the magnet which is having the shape of horseshoe. That is horseshoe magnet or different shape magnets are there. You can see this type of magnet is the disc magnet is the needle magnet is the this needle magnet you can see in the compass. So that means different types of magnets are there. You will study the detail in your upcoming higher classes. Now I am just selecting one magnet and just placing some iron nails here. What happens to these iron nails? You can see these iron nails jump to this magnet. These iron nails jump or move. We studied that for moving an object we want to apply some force. Here I am not putting this iron nails towards this magnet. I am just placing this nails somewhere and they are getting moving or attracting towards this magnet. So who is attracting or who is moving these nails? That is done by the magnet and the force acting between this magnet and the nail is magnetic force. So we can define this magnetic force like this. The force applied by a magnet. The force applied by a magnet on an object is called magnetic force. So, this is the definition. The force applied by the magnet on an object. Here the object is nail. So, any type of substance like the iron nails, iron box or something that is getting attracted to this magnet, and the attraction or the movement of this object is done because of the force acted by this magnet, and that is called the magnetic force. Or there is another name for this magnetic force, and that is magnetism. Magnetism is the same Magnetic force, the another name of this magnetic force is magnetism. You can either use magnetic force or magnetism. So this is all about this. Here we said about the attractive force. And now the question is this, have any repulsive force? One is coming towards the magnet. Anything that make away this? We can check. Again I am selecting two horseshoe magnets. For the magnets it is having poles. North pole and south pole. And for this magnet also it is having north pole and south pole. And when I am moving this magnet towards this magnet, you can see that this magnet is moving to this direction. So that is, it is not attraction. If it's attraction, this magnet have to move to this direction, towards this magnet. But where this magnet is moving away from this magnet, and so I can call this repulsion. So here these nails are attracted. That means it is moving towards the magnet and I call it as attraction. And if the magnet or anything that is moving away from the magnet, then I can call it as repulsion. So this is also what we can call it as magnetic force. So that's why we are using the force applied by the magnet. It is either attraction or repulsion. So this is about the magnetic force. The force applied by a magnet on an object is called what? Magnetic force. This is all about this magnetic force. Now we can study the next thing, that is electrostatic force. Electrostatic force. Next we are going to discuss about electrostatic force. Actually, you are experiencing this type of force in your day-to-day life. For example, when we are ironing our clothes, that means the silk sari or something, silk shirt or something, when we are ironed, you can feel that our hair is getting attracted on that piece of silk sari or silk shirt or some sort of polyester sari, shawl, like the things when we are ironed, we can feel some sort of attractive force is there and our hair is getting attracted to this. That means the hair on our hand or our hair is getting attracted to this with the whole sari or the shirt. And what's that? The same thing you can feel when the television is on. When the television is on, you can suddenly feel certain type of attractive force, that our hair is getting attracted towards the television screen. And what's that? What is this electrostatic force? The reason is this electrostatic force. Now we want to explain this electrostatic force based on this. And also another example is this, that you can do from your home itself. Very simple activity, that just take one plastic scale. Plastic scale. Then rub this plastic scale on your oil-less hair. Oil-less hair. And then take some small pieces of paper. Very tiny pieces of paper, just collect. And I already said that just take one plastic scale, rub on your hair and then attract towards this or put the scale towards these small pieces of paper. When you are taking big pieces of paper, it's not getting attracted. So you want to take very small pieces of paper, and when you put the scale on this, you can see that these paper pieces jump on the scale. It is getting attracted. So that is actually what electrostatic force. I already said that any type of motion will only occur with a particular type of force. Here the force is this electrostatic force. And why there occurs such a force? At initial stage, this paper or this scale is having no force. And when I am rubbing this, the force occurs. And the thing is this, when I am rubbing the scale on my hair, the charge is getting moving, or the charge is getting produced on the scale, and because of that the electrostatic force produces. So we can define this like this. On rubbing a particular object, here the main point is rubbing. When we are rubbing a particular object, they produce charge. They produce charge. Because of this charge, there the attractive force occurs, and that is what electrostatic force. So we can define it like this. The force is occurred by the rubbing of substances, and so they produce charge, and attractive force produces called electrostatic force, or electrostatic force of attraction. So this is the definition. The force is occurred by rubbing. Here the rubbing is very important. When we are not rubbing, for the scale there is having no charge. So the force is occurred by rubbing of substances, and so they produce charge. When we are rubbing the substance, they have charge, and attractive force produces and that's called electrostatic force of attraction. So this is about the electrostatic force. You want to study this definition and also want to remember the examples. That means when we are rubbing the plastic scale on hair, it will attract the small paper pieces, or we can attract our hair when the television on. Like some of the examples you just want to remember. Or when we are rubbing the balloon, it start attracting our hair. Like the things. And don't think all of the substances have this electrostatic force. When I am rubbing this paper each other, there is no electrostatic force will produce. So this is all about this electrostatic force. The next we are going to study the another type of force, and that is gravitational force. Gravitational force or gravity, simply we can say it like that. So for example, I am just taking one chalk and dropping this. What happens? It just moves downward. So when I am dropping a stone or chalk piece, that is getting moving downward. Why this is not going to upward? What is the reason? That is one case. The another, this is a tree having apples, and when one apple is just dropped from this tree, what happens? That apple will come downward and it's not going upward. Or when a coconut is just coming from the tree, that's to down, not to upward. What's the reason? Actually, the reason is our gravitational force. Another example is this. We are jumping on the earth. And is it possible to jump very much high? Is it possible to jump a person to the height of the 10-stair building? This is our earth. One person is here and he can jump within a particular limit. So, if this is the limit, it's not possible to jump the person to very much height. Why? All these cases, the reason is this, the gravitational force. So we can say this gravitational force is the attraction. Here it is done by our earth. Don't think that only for this earth it is having gravitational force. For example, two balls are here. These two balls are having their own attraction each other. Or for example, this is our earth. Generally we are saying within your limit, you can say it as this gravitational force is the force that all the objects are attracted towards the surface of earth. It's okay, but actually it's not like that. So you just want to study the definition as when an object is coming towards the earth's surface, it is getting attracted. So the reason is this, the gravitational force, and no, don't think this is only for the earth. Also we have another object's attraction. We can say this is our earth. And some sort of thing is always rotating and revolving around earth. What's that? We can see that in the night sky. Moon. This moon is rotating. Why this moon is not going away or it's coming towards the earth and falling on earth? Why? The reason is very simple. This earth is having the gravitational force. And in the similar way, this moon is also having gravitational force. Simply you just want to understand that this earth have one attractive force and this moon also have one attractive force. By balancing these two attractive force, this moon is rotating and revolving around earth. In the similar way, our earth is rotating and revolving around the sun. Here also, this sun exerts a particular type of attractive force on the earth, and also the earth is giving an attractive force on the sun, and they are getting balanced, and because of that this is rotating and revolving around the sun. So we can say this is all because of our gravitational force. So simply we can say this gravitational force is the force of attraction between two objects. It is having some equations and all. You will study this in the higher classes. A big chapter is there in your 9th standard and all. So now we can define this as it is the attractive force acting between any two objects. So, it is the attractive force acting between any two objects. This is the reason why the apple is coming down, or when we are dropping a stone, it is coming down. Even if when we are dropping a chalk to top, what happens? After some time it will come down. The reason is same, what? The gravitational force. So this is all about our gravitational force. You just want to study the definition and just remember these examples. Why this earth is rotating around the sun, why this moon is rotating around the earth. Like all the things are because of this gravitational force. So this is all about our gravitation. So you can use this gravitational force as gravity also. Gravity or gravitational force. So this is all about this. So today we discussed about different types of force. First we studied different names. First you want to study that names, and then we discussed in detail about some sort of forces. Which are they? First we discussed about magnetic force. Then we studied about electrostatic force. Electrostatic force. And then we discussed about gravitational force. So for this you want to study the statements or the definition of this and also remember some examples for this. So this is all about today's class. There are also another type of force like frictional force, buoyant force, like different forces are there that we can discuss in our coming class. Now it's enough for today. You want to read your textbook and we will meet in the next class with the further type of forces. Thank you.